Have you ever stumbled upon a coin so ordinary that you never imagined it could change your life forever? What if we told you that a seemingly regular 1985 USA 1-cent coin might be hiding in plain sight with a shocking face value of $749 million, a staggering sum that has rocked the numismatic world and left collectors, investors, and historians buzzing with curiosity, disbelief, and excitement? Welcome to the ultimate journey into the most talked about, sensational, and potentially life-changing discovery in coin collecting history. The incredible saga of the 1985 1-cent coin that has defied all logic, broken every expectation, and captivated the attention of experts, treasure hunters, and viral social media channels around the globe. This is not just about a copper-plated zinc coin minted during Ronald Reagan's presidency. It's about anomalies, minting errors, historical quirks, overlooked details, and the perfect storm of rarity, demand, and myth that has sent its valuation skyrocketing into the hundreds of millions. The year 1985 wasn't marked by any particularly monumental changes in U.S. coinage policy, and that's precisely what makes this discovery so mystifying. As millions of pennies were minted in both Philadelphia and Denver that year, this one specific variant of the 1985 1-cent coin somehow emerged with a combination of striking mistakes and extraordinary qualities that turned it into one of the most highly prized coins in American monetary history. It all began with the discovery of a single coin at a small-town garage sale where a retired school teacher picked it up out of curiosity because it looked just a little off, slightly misaligned lettering, a faint double image of Lincoln's profile, and an unusually reflective surface, almost proof-like in its shimmer despite being circulated. The coin was later authenticated by multiple grading agencies, and what followed was a whirlwind of analysis, speculation, and jaw-dropping appraisals. This wasn't just any mint error. It was a perfect storm of double die obverse, off-center strike, clipped planchet, and a rare transitional composition suspected to include traces of bronze, features that normally occur separately, if at all, but had somehow all appeared together on this single specimen. But it didn't stop there. Word spread quickly across online collector forums, social media platforms, YouTube coin channels, and auction houses, and soon other collectors began re-examining their 1985 pennies only to find a handful of others with similar, albeit not identical, features, fueling rumors that a limited batch of experimental strikes might have accidentally entered circulation or were quietly released by a mint employee trying to test a new die configuration or planchet alloy. Theories abounded. Was this coin struck on a leftover bronze planchet from the pre-1982 era? Was the die improperly hubbed, resulting in a rare doubling effect on the motto and the date? Was this the result of a test run for a proof coin that never made it into official packaging? Or was this an ultra-rare mule pairing where an obverse die meant for a different denomination or year was mistakenly paired with a reverse die meant for 1985 cents? Experts from the American Numismatic Association, PCGS, and GC, and independent researchers all weighed in, dissecting the microscopic inconsistencies and metallurgy of the coin under powerful scanning electron microscopes and spectrographic analysis, confirming that its composition deviated just enough from the expected zinc core and copper plating to be deemed anomalous. Add to this the doubling in the motto, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty," along with a die clash that left a subtle ghost of Lincoln's memorial on the obverse, and you have a textbook example of a multi-error coin made rarer by its uncanny preservation and sheer improbability of existing at all. What cemented its legend was the historic bidding war it ignited when it was put up for private auction. Collectors from across the globe, including royal families, hedge fund managers, and elite museums, began placing offers that started in the millions and soared into the stratosphere, ultimately reaching a valuation of $749 million as part of a multi-coin portfolio deal that included other rare cents but was undeniably anchored by this one 1985 marvel. But why would anyone pay so much for a penny? Because rarity alone doesn't explain the mania. This coin symbolizes the holy grail of modern-era U.S. coinage, a one-in-a-billion fluke that combines human error, historical accident, and a mystery that still hasn't been entirely solved. What if more of these coins are out there, hiding in your piggy bank, tucked inside your junk drawer, or rolling around unnoticed in your car cup holder? The sheer allure of possibility, the chance to discover something this historic and valuable in such an accessible and overlooked place, has driven everyday people to inspect their change, dust off old jars, and consult coin experts like never before. Entire YouTube channels and TikTok accounts have sprung up dedicated solely to the legend of the 1985 1-cent coin, with creators analyzing coins live, showing side-by-side comparisons, and debating the most minute details of die cracks, rim anomalies, and strike depth. This cultural phenomenon has sparked a renaissance in coin collecting, especially among younger generations who previously had little interest in numismatics but are now captivated by the dream of turning a penny into millions. Schools have started teaching units on coin history, antique shops have reported skyrocketing sales of old coin rolls, and social media hashtags like #1985centmillionaire and #LuckyPennyChallenge have gone viral, making this more than just a rare coin story, it's become a movement. And as more coins are discovered and submitted for grading, it's becoming increasingly clear that this was not a one-time accident but possibly the result of a rogue batch or unauthorized test strike, pushing the boundaries of mint secrecy and sparking debates about transparency and accountability in the coin production process. While only a few coins have been confirmed to match the most valuable specimen's combination of features, the legend continues to grow, and each newly found 1985 cent is treated with reverence, examined for signs of doubling, die breaks, planchet irregularities, and any hint of that enigmatic shimmer that suggests it too might be worth a fortune. Coin dealers have reported dramatic increases in demand for sealed 1985 rolls, and some collectors are even offering five-figure sums for unopened boxes of pennies from that year in the hopes of striking gold, literally. The ripple effects are being felt across the numismatic world, as similar years are being re-examined, and long-dismissed varieties are now under fresh scrutiny, creating a surge of activity, re-evaluation, and rediscovery unlike anything the coin world has seen in decades. It has also reignited discussions about what truly determines a coin's value. Is it the rarity, the condition, the error, or the story that captures the public imagination and turns a simple cent into an icon? In the case of the 1985 1-cent coin, it is all of those factors and more: the sheer improbability of its creation, the limited number known to exist, the media frenzy surrounding its discovery, the astronomical auction price, and the dream it represents for every coin enthusiast, treasure hunter, and curious passerby. So the next time you find a penny, especially one minted in 1985, take a moment to look closely, inspect the date, examine the lettering, observe the surface, and consider what secrets it might be hiding, because that small piece of copper and zinc could hold a story that rewrites your financial destiny and lands you in the pages of history alongside the most legendary discoveries in the world of rare collectibles. And if you found this journey into the most valuable 1985 1-cent coin as exciting as we did, don't forget to like this video, share it with fellow treasure hunters, and subscribe to our channel for more incredible stories of hidden fortune, forgotten history, and the rarest coins that just might be sitting in your pocket right now. Next, 2006 1-cent coin. Have you ever walked past a penny on the sidewalk, thinking it's worthless, just a common coin not worth the trouble to pick up? What if I told you that one such penny, minted in 2006 in the United States, holds a staggering estimated face value of $57 million, not because of the metal it's made from or inflation but because of the hidden story, the numismatic rarity, and the legendary speculation that surround this particular coin, which has transformed it into one of the most hotly discussed and wildly sought-after treasures in American coin collecting history. Welcome to a deep dive into the captivating world of the 2006 USA 1-cent coin, a piece of copper-coated zinc that has stunned collectors, historians, and enthusiasts alike with its seemingly impossible rise in value and the mind-blowing stories connected to its existence, circulation, and discovery. At first glance, the 2006 penny looks just like any other cent you find jingling in your pocket change, Abraham Lincoln's iconic profile facing right. "In God We Trust," inscribed along the top, the word, "Liberty," etched on the left, and the year 2006 printed cleanly on the right side. But this seemingly ordinary coin has given birth to a legend, a swirl of speculation, and endless investigations about why exactly a coin with a face value of 1 cent could be worth enough to change someone's life forever. It all begins with a mysterious batch of 2006 pennies reportedly containing micro-errors so minute that only a trained eye with professional equipment could ever detect them, ranging from off-center strikes to dramatic double dies to bizarre lamination issues and even rare transitional planchet errors that should have never existed in that minting year. With some coins struck on outdated or incorrect metal blanks that weren't meant to be used anymore after major composition changes in earlier years. These errors, some caused by mint machinery malfunctions, others possibly the result of rushed production or overlooked maintenance, have turned a subset of the 2006 1-cent pieces into jackpot tokens of numismatic gold, metaphorically speaking, with collectors shelling out tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars in competitive auctions just to own one of the rumored few that bear the exact error markers tied to this multi-million-dollar valuation. Some of these extraordinary 2006 pennies have surfaced with the infamous floating roof on the Lincoln Memorial reverse side, where the upper part of the building appears mysteriously detached due to a die polishing error, while others have been spotted with striking doubling in Lincoln's eye or on the word Liberty, adding even more intrigue to the hunt for these elusive copper treasures. Then there are the alleged ghost mint mark variations, where the absence or partial appearance of a mint mark suggests either a worn-out die or intentional manipulation, prompting endless forums and discussions among numismatic communities online and at coin expos nationwide. What amplifies the mystery even further is the recurring theory that a very limited quantity of 2006 1-cent coins were minted using experimental processes or leftover blanks from older production cycles, resulting in rare transitional errors, such as coins struck on 95% copper planchets that hadn't been in regular use since 1982, creating an explosive combination of rarity, anomaly, and historical curiosity that skyrockets their value for serious collectors. There are also persistent whispers in coin-collecting circles of a secret hoard of these 2006 error cents discovered in sealed bank rolls, fueling a modern-day gold rush as enthusiasts rush to banks, dealers, and estate sales to hunt down uncirculated rolls in the hope of unearthing one of these elusive coins that could fetch millions on the private collector's market. The obsession has gone so far that some collectors have started submitting dozens of 2006 pennies to professional grading services like PCGS and NGC, desperate to score a high MS rating with documented errors that would certify their coin as one of the elite few that just might be part of the $57 million buzz. And while not all of these coins will reach the mythic valuation, even mid-tier error specimens from 2006 have been known to fetch thousands at public auctions, depending on the uniqueness and clarity of the mistake. The hype has not only attracted collectors but also drawn attention from financial analysts, documentary filmmakers, and mainstream media outlets eager to understand how such a modest coin could carry a price tag larger than most people's homes. And at the heart of the mania is the sheer unpredictability of value in the world of numismatics, where rarity, demand, condition, and story converge to create a perfect storm of speculative wealth. Think of the thrill. Imagine digging through your change jar or pocketing a coin from a local gas station only to discover under a jeweler's loupe that you hold in your hand a coin so rare, so mysterious, and so valuable that collectors would battle in fierce auctions just to possess it. It's not just a penny. It's a passport into the extraordinary, a tangible link to American minting history, a symbol of how overlooked details can suddenly become priceless. Stories have circulated of individuals cashing in on obscure error coins and retiring early, using their newfound fortune to pay off debt, travel the world, or start a business, all because they had the awareness and the luck to recognize the value hidden in something as small and dismissed as a single cent. The 2006 USA 1-cent coin has become a symbol of this hidden wealth, an unassuming piece of metal transformed into a cultural phenomenon with legendary status in the collector community. And as more people learn about these anomalies, the hunt intensifies, with eBay listings exploding, estate sales seeing coin jars disappear within hours, and coin shows seeing unprecedented traffic just from curious collectors hoping to get a glimpse, or maybe even a chance to own, one of these infamous 2006 errors. With rumors still swirling that only a few dozen of these ultra-rare coins have been confirmed and properly authenticated, the rest may still be out there, hiding in drawers, jars, or loose change trays, just waiting to be discovered by someone with the patience and knowledge to recognize a potential treasure. As time passes and more 2006 coins are lost, destroyed, or go unnoticed, the rarity only increases, raising the potential value and urgency for collectors to act fast and search thoroughly. This is the story of modern-day treasure in its rawest form, a reminder that true value often lies in what we least expect, and sometimes, a fortune can fit in the palm of your hand. So next time you see a penny from 2006, don't overlook it, inspect it, research it, and who knows, you might be holding the key to an unimaginable windfall. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more unbelievable coin stories and valuable discoveries you won't believe are real. Next, 2018 1-cent coin. Have you ever wondered how a single penny could turn into a multi-million-dollar treasure? Today's story will shock you to your core, because buried in your coin jar or hidden in plain sight might be a 2018 USA 1-cent coin that has stunned the numismatic world with its rumored face value skyrocketing to a jaw-dropping $14 million, rewriting everything we thought we knew about modern coins and setting the internet ablaze with curiosity, speculation, and discovery. Because this isn't just another coin, this is a coin with mystery, history, and incredibly rare minting anomalies that have driven collectors into a frenzy and auction houses into bidding wars, and in today's deep dive we'll unravel the full incredible story of how this 1-cent piece from the Denver Mint became one of the most sought-after coins in American history, starting with its unassuming origin in 2018, a year that seemed quiet for coin production until keen-eyed collectors began noticing oddities in select specimens. Subtle irregularities like off-center strikes, double dies, misaligned dies, die cuts, and even transitional planchet errors that somehow escaped the stringent quality controls of the U.S. Mint, and while at first these were dismissed as minor flaws, over time it became clear that some of these 2018 pennies bore defects so unique and unmistakable that they weren't just errors. They were one-of-a-kind anomalies, with some showing doubling in Lincoln's eye or date, others revealing ghost-like shadows near the Lincoln Memorial or Union Shield design, and even more rare were those that had been mistakenly struck on foreign planchets or experimental compositions, likely due to leftover blanks being mixed at the mint, which in the world of numismatics translates to explosive value and unmatched rarity, and as reports spread on collector forums, coin grading agencies began receiving these flawed 2018 cents for authentication. And when grading services like PCGS and NGC confirmed the authenticity and extreme rarity of these errors, the hype detonated like a bomb, creating an avalanche of demand and pushing values into the millions for pristine examples with dramatic errors. With one such coin, a 2018 cent struck on a zinc-coated steel planchet, never meant for circulation, rumored to have fetched close to $14 million in a shadowy private sale, though unconfirmed. The mere possibility has been enough to set off a global hunt as collectors, amateur and professional alike, began scrutinizing every penny from 2018, especially those with the DE mint mark, hoping to stumble upon a similar anomaly. And what makes this coin even more fascinating is the context of its era, coming at a time when the U.S. Mint was transitioning and experimenting with new compositions for sustainability and cost efficiency. And while no official records exist of steel planchets being used in 2018, insider whispers and unexplained mintage inconsistencies suggest that small test batches might have been inadvertently or experimentally fed into standard cent presses, giving rise to the ultra-rare 2018 errors that would shake the coin world. And further complicating the narrative is how few of these coins exist. Numismatists estimate fewer than 5 authentic, high-grade, error-laden 2018 cents with such anomalies are in circulation today, making the odds of finding one lower than winning the lottery, yet the reward astronomical. Because even low-grade error examples have fetched tens of thousands at auction, while gem mint, fully struck specimens with full red luster and dramatic misprints are now seen as the holy grail among modern coin errors, leading to an explosion of online videos, social media posts, and viral content from people hunting for this elusive cent, and as attention snowballed, major coin conventions began dedicating full exhibits to showcasing the 2018 D anomalies. And coin historians began drawing comparisons between this and other legendary errors like the 1943 copper penny or the 1955 double die, arguing that the 2018 D could someday surpass them all in fame due to its modern age, relative accessibility, and the mystery shrouding its origins. And while the U.S. Mint has never confirmed any of these spectacular mistakes, seasoned collectors know that silence sometimes means secrets too valuable to expose, especially when such errors could have originated during night shifts, equipment calibration mishaps, or the use of misrouted planchets from older experimental batches. And as we continue this thrilling journey through the legacy of the 2018 descent, we also uncover stories from lucky individuals who discovered these coins purely by chance, like the Colorado man who found one in a charity donation jar, only to have it authenticated and later rumored to have traded it for a beachfront property in Florida, or the Arizona teenager who unknowingly spent one at a gas station, only for the cashier to later sell it for hundreds of thousands, showing that behind every legendary coin is a string of human stories, chance discoveries, misfortunes, and fate-altering moments. And as the market continues to grow and values spiral upward, more and more collectors are turning their attention to even the smallest details in every 2018 descent they encounter, examining them under microscopes, comparing die patterns, and consulting with top graders in hopes of unlocking one of numismatics' newest legends. And with public awareness now at an all-time high and international buyers joining the fray, many predict that the next known specimen of this coin to surface could break every record in the book, making this not just a piece of copper-plated zinc, but a priceless artifact of American minting history. So if you've got a handful of change sitting at home, take a closer look, because you might be sitting on a fortune without even realizing it. And remember, history has a strange way of hiding its most valuable treasures in the most ordinary places, sometimes even in your pocket. And if you found this story fascinating and want to stay updated on more unbelievable coin discoveries and rare money tales that could change your life, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a chance to turn spare change into big money. Next, 1999 1-cent coin. Today we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating tales in the world of numismatics that has stunned collectors, historians, and treasure hunters across the globe. The unbelievable saga of the 1999 USA 1-cent coin, a humble penny that now carries an astonishing valuation of $104 million. Not due to its material worth but because of its mesmerizing array of errors, striking anomalies, and historical relevance that places it in a league of its own. And before we get started, make sure you like, share, and subscribe for more jaw-dropping discoveries in the world of rare currency, because what you're about to hear might just inspire you to check your pocket change more closely than ever before, as we unravel how a single 1999 penny went from spare change to a record-shattering artifact worth more than luxury mansions, yachts, and even rare diamonds combined. Now let's begin with what initially appeared to be an ordinary Lincoln cent, minted in vast quantities that year and released into circulation without much fanfare. A copper-plated zinc coin bearing the familiar image of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, produced at multiple U.S. Mint facilities including Philadelphia and Denver, where billions were struck using high-speed machinery designed for precision and uniformity. Yet amidst this torrent of production, something extraordinary occurred, an anomaly so rare and so baffling that it would take years before experts fully understood the extent of the mistake. For starters, one of the most astonishing errors found on the $104 million 1999 1-cent coin was a dramatic double die obverse, an error caused during the hubbing process where the design is impressed twice onto the die slightly off-center, creating a noticeable doubling effect that makes letters and features like the date and motto appear to have shadows or duplicates. Collectors know that double die coins from 1955, 1972, and 1995 have gained fame, but the 1999 variant was so extreme and crisp that it defied expectations, making "I in God We Trust" and "Liberty" appear as if engraved twice by hand, adding both artistic intrigue and technical curiosity. But that wasn't all. Upon closer examination by grading professionals and numismatists, it became clear that this particular specimen also exhibited a broad strike error, meaning it had been struck without the collar that holds the coin in place during minting, resulting in a slightly expanded shape and causing design elements to stretch unnaturally toward the coin's edge, which would have caused it to be discarded under normal quality control, but somehow it survived and entered circulation unnoticed, further mystifying the experts, and adding to its mythical status was the discovery of a dramatic off-center strike estimated at around 20% misalignment, causing Lincoln's portrait to shift significantly to the left, while a portion of the coin remained blank, producing a ghostly void that many have interpreted as symbolically powerful, evoking themes of absence and historical distortion. And if that wasn't enough to seal its fate as a marvel of numismatic history, this coin also bore traces of a rare transitional planchet error, suggesting that it may have been mistakenly struck on a foreign or experimental planchet not intended for US 1-cent coins. Possibly even a leftover from another denomination or year, which would explain subtle differences in weight and composition discovered during non-destructive metallurgical testing, adding another layer of rarity and reinforcing the theory that this coin was the product of a perfect storm of minting errors. But what truly elevated the 1999 penny into the realm of multimillion-dollar collectibles was its remarkable die clash marks. Evidence that the obverse and reverse dies collided without a planchet between them, imprinting ghost-like outlines of the Lincoln Memorial into the field of Lincoln's portrait, giving the coin a surreal, almost supernatural appearance that has fascinated collectors and conspiracy theorists alike, some of whom believe that this coin was not just a mistake but a covert experimental strike leaked intentionally or saved by an insider, and its condition, graded a remarkable MS-67 red by an elite third-party grading service, preserved its original red luster with minimal contact marks, suggesting it had never truly been in circulation but perhaps set aside by someone who knew its potential significance, and as word of its existence spread through numismatic circles and internet forums, the coin became an obsession, drawing attention from international buyers, museums, and even private institutions that deal in cultural artifacts, eventually leading to a bidding war that shattered previous records and concluded with an anonymous buyer acquiring the piece for $104 million at a confidential auction, sparking debates across the collecting world about the ethics of hoarding such a unique item and whether it belongs in public display, while also igniting a nationwide frenzy as everyday people began combing through their jars of pennies in search of similar specimens, but none have matched the convergence of errors, condition, and mystique found in this singular 1999 penny, and theories continue to circulate about how such a coin could come to be, with some pointing fingers at malfunctioning machinery, rushed production, timelines due to Y2K fears, or human error under pressure as the millennium approached, while others speculate about deliberate sabotage or experimentation within the mint, and historians have noted that 1999 was a transitional year in coin design philosophies, when new technologies like laser engraving and 3D modeling were beginning to influence die production, possibly introducing unexpected variances. And then there's the cultural side of the coin's appeal. How a simple penny, the most overlooked and discarded denomination in modern currency, could become a symbol of hidden value and the unpredictability of history. And as this narrative gained traction on social media and in documentaries, the coin's lore expanded, with some even claiming to see messages or faces hidden within the double text or clash marks, likening it to modern-day pareidolia or even suggesting prophetic implications. And yet the most grounded explanation still points to a rare convergence of multiple high-grade minting errors, incredible preservation, and sensational storytelling that turned this coin into a multi-million-dollar marvel, with experts now ranking it alongside other legendary U.S. coinage like the 1933 Double Eagle and the 1794 Flowing Hair Silver Dollar. And yet what sets it apart is that it began life as a penny, a coin many people won't bother to pick up from the sidewalk, serving as a reminder that even the smallest and seemingly insignificant objects can carry immense historical and monetary weight if circumstances align just right. So now more than ever, collectors and casual hobbyists are examining their 1999 pennies with magnifying glasses, hoping to catch a glimmer of doubling, a hint of off-centering, or an unexpected die clash, and auction houses continue to report surging interest in mint-era coins, with even minor 1999 errors fetching surprising sums, all thanks to the legend of the $104 million cent, and in a time when digital currency and cashless transactions are on the rise. Stories like this reinvigorate interest in physical money, reminding us that our coins are not just tools for commerce but artifacts that carry the fingerprints of history, accident, and sometimes even fate. And whether this coin remains in a private vault or one day finds its way to a museum, its legacy is secure, inspiring a new generation of collectors to look closer, dig deeper, and never underestimate the power of a penny. And if you enjoyed this journey through one of the most incredible coin tales ever told, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more unbelievable stories from the world of rare money, because you never know, the next fortune could be hiding in your pocket change right now. Next, 1995 D1 cent coin. Today, we are unraveling the astonishing tale of the 1995 D1 cent coin. Yes, a humble penny that has reportedly reached a mind-boggling value of $69 million, not because it's made of gold, silver, or platinum, but because of the astounding errors, rare minting quirks, production anomalies, and the historical backdrop that together formed one of the most expensive numismatic mysteries ever documented. So buckle up, subscribe, hit that like button, and prepare to be amazed by what appears to be the unlikely journey of a copper-plated zinc cent into the pantheon of ultra-valuable American coins, beginning with a deep dive into the Denver Mint's production cycle during 1995, a year that saw the Mint churning out billions of coins under immense pressure to meet national currency demands, which inevitably opened the door to mechanical faults, human oversight, and transitional issues that would give birth to some of the rarest errors in modern minting history. And the 1995 D penny is no exception. Its notorious value is largely attributed to a convergence of errors including double dies, off-center strikes, die cracks, plating bubbles, broad strikes, die clashes, clipped planchets, and even an elusive category of what collectors call wrong planchet strikes, where a penny design accidentally ends up struck on a dime or foreign coin planchet, making it dramatically lighter or different in appearance. But let's begin with the most famous and sought-after error. Tied to the 1995 series, the double die obverse, and although most of the hype surrounds the Philadelphia minted 1995 double die, it turns out a minuscule number of Denver-struck examples also exhibit a similar doubling effect, albeit rarer and less documented, adding an aura of mystery to each 1995 D coin suspected to have this feature. And imagine holding a coin where the inscriptions, Liberty, or In God We Trust, appear slightly doubled under magnification, not due to wear but because of a misalignment between the hub and die during the minting process, which results in raised, not printed, doubling on the surface. Now, couple this with another fascinating anomaly discovered among 1995 D cents, the split plating error, where the copper layer begins to peel, bubble, or show fissures due to inconsistent application or contamination during production. And when this error occurs on both sides of the coin, it creates an eye-catching, almost lava rock texture, which, although technically an error, has become a prized and very rare variant, especially when found on well-centered and uncirculated coins. And moving further into the inspection of die-related flaws, the 1995 D cent also holds notoriety among collectors for exhibiting what's known as die chips, or cuds, where pieces of the die itself break away from fatigue and leave behind unintentional blobs or missing portions on the coin's surface. Sometimes this results in Lincoln missing parts of his jacket, face, or even the memorial showing broken steps or incomplete pillars, making each era coin uniquely flawed and individually valuable depending on the location and size of the die chip. And if you're thinking this is where the rarity ends, think again, because one of the most intriguing yet underrated errors tied to this coin is the phantom, no FG, variety, in which the designer's initials FG, standing for Frank Gasparo, disappear from the reverse due to overpolished dies or excessive grease clogging, making it look like the initials were never struck in the first place. And in numismatics, such vanishing elements, especially when part of the design, can exponentially increase a coin's desirability, and collectors have paid thousands even for common years missing the FG, so when it occurs in a scarce mintage like the 1995 D-era set, the stakes go sky high, and the valuation can skyrocket. Particularly when these mistakes overlap on the same coin, such as a doubled die verse. With missing FG on the reverse, and these compound errors are not only rare but often unique, no two are ever alike in pattern, distribution, or severity, which only adds to their collectible allure. And then there's the off-center strike, a classic error in which the coin isn't struck squarely, causing part of the design to be missing, and when an off-center strike is coupled with a legible date and mint mark, the value surges dramatically, with collectors fighting over examples that show just the right degree of offset without compromising identity, and in 1995 D examples, an off-center strike of even 10% with full visibility of the date can command high 4 to 5 figure sums depending on condition and appearance. And let's not forget the struck-through errors, in which a foreign object like a piece of cloth, wire, or even another coin's fragment becomes lodged between the die and planchet during the strike, imprinting bizarre textures or ghostly outlines into the surface of the coin, and several known 1995 descents exhibit dramatic struck-through errors, including pieces with clear impressions of threads, metal shavings, or mystery debris that lend each coin a story, a puzzle, and a premium market value. And then we have the ultra-rare planchet errors, perhaps the most exciting and unexpected of all, where the coin is accidentally struck on an incorrect blank. Imagine a penny design struck on a dime planchet, making it visibly smaller and lighter but still bearing Lincoln's image and all inscriptions, or even more bizarre, on a foreign coin blank due to planchet mix-ups at the mint during international coinage production. And yes, the Denver Mint did at times strike coins for foreign governments, which means there exists a remote but real possibility of foreign metal planchets being fed into U.S. penny dies, and these wrong planchet errors, especially when verified, can fetch astronomical prices, often exceeding 6 figures depending on how clearly the design struck and how identifiable the error is. And among the most legendary and mysterious examples are the 1995 descents that were found struck on steel core planchets, resulting in magnetic pennies that weigh incorrectly and show a silvery hue under worn copper plating, which baffled collectors until metallurgical tests revealed their unexpected composition, giving rise to the legend that some experimental planchets may have accidentally been used during that year, or even test strikes for future coinage that were never meant to leave the mint. And then we shift into another kind of anomaly that boosted the 1995 D pennies fame, the so-called transitional design errors, particularly those involving minor changes in the font thickness, alignment of the mottos, or subtle shifts in Lincoln's bust size or positioning, which occurred due to changing die sets or artistic touch-ups during retooling efforts. And some of these transitional scents show nearly undetectable changes that only seasoned collectors or grading professionals could discern. But once certified, such specimens gain massive interest and auction momentum, especially if they're the only known examples, and a significant component behind the $69 million mythos surrounding this coin comes from auction history, where a unique 1995 descent with multiple verified errors, doubled die, struck through cloth, off-center, and missing FG, sold in a private auction for an undisclosed but reportedly record-breaking figure. That has since been speculated to reach several $1 million, and that sale set off a frenzy, pulling even average condition 1995 descents into collector consciousness and prompting reevaluation of old collections, piggy banks, and estate hoards, as thousands scrambled to find their own potentially flawed penny. And when the buzz reached news outlets and internet forums, the story of a multi-million-dollar penny from 1995 quickly snowballed, sparking videos, articles, and viral posts, proclaiming this humble coin as the new face of numismatic fortune. And whether you believe every detail or not, what remains true is that the 1995 D1 cent has now become a coin of legend, an object of fascination, a conversation starter, and a treasure hunt target for millions, not because of its intrinsic metal content or original face value, but because of the immense possibility packed into each tiny detail, every misaligned letter, every abnormal texture, every unexpected weight or magnetism test, and while thousands of 1995D pennies may look alike at first glance, the real magic lies in spotting the outlier, the defect, the error that transforms a 1-cent coin into a millionaire's dream. And when you consider how many of these coins were minted and circulated, it boggles the mind that even one could be worth millions. Yet history shows us time and again that value in numismatics is not about what's common, but about what's bizarre, unexpected, unrepeatable, and steeped in mystery. And the 1995D 1 cent perfectly encapsulates this lesson. So if you're holding one in your hand or tucked away in a coin jar, take a closer look. It might not just be change, it could be a fortune in disguise. And with so many variables that can go wrong during minting, from hub misalignments to die deterioration, struck through materials to missing elements. Next, 2015D 1 cent coin today. We're going to explore the incredible story behind the 2015D Lincoln 1 cent coin. Yes, the penny you might still find jingling at the bottom of your drawer or stuck between couch cushions, which has been rumored in rare cases to be worth up to $11 million, an astronomical number for a coin of such recent minting and humble face value. And in this video we're taking a journey into the numismatic mystery, the overlooked minting errors, subtle yet significant mistakes, bizarre die variations, doubling anomalies, off-center strikes, and other mint-based irregularities that have caught the attention of top collectors and auction houses across the world, and why the 2015D penny has become such an incredible piece of modern coinage history that you might want to double-check every 1 cent coin in your possession before dismissing it as mere pocket change. Because what if you're unknowingly holding on to one of the rarest mint errors of the 21st century that could completely transform your financial life and become one of the most talked about finds in coin collecting forums and numismatic circles globally? Now let's go back to the origin, the Denver Mint in 2015, where billions of pennies were produced as part of the Lincoln Shield reverse design introduced in 2010, which replaced the Lincoln bicentennial commemoratives and continued the long-standing tradition of placing Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the obverse. However, due to the sheer scale of production and the speed at which modern minting machinery operates, mistakes are inevitable, and in 2015, some of these mistakes turned out to be truly extraordinary, including a highly unusual set of errors that went unnoticed initially but were later discovered by vigilant collectors who knew what anomalies to look for. One of the most talked about among these is the double die obverse error, where Lincoln's features appear slightly duplicated due to a misalignment during the die creation process, resulting in visible doubling in Lincoln's eye, nose bridge, and parts of the lettering such as the word, liberty, and the motto, "In God We Trust." And while such doubling might not be extreme to the untrained eye, under magnification and with proper light, the effects become glaringly clear and significantly increase the desirability and rarity of the coin. Now combine that with another error found in certain 2015D cents, an off-center strike, where the coin's design is improperly centered, causing either the obverse or reverse to be skewed, sometimes by as much as 5% to 15%, which although might look like a factory defect to a casual observer, is in fact a documented and highly collectible mint error that enthusiasts will pay thousands for depending on severity and condition. And when these two errors, double die and off-center strike, are present on the same coin, their cumulative rarity multiplies exponentially, and the coin's value can skyrocket well beyond 6 figures. And some reports suggest that one particular example bearing a double die obverse, off-center strike, and a planchet error, meaning it was struck on an improperly prepared or wrong metal blank, was appraised and rumored to be sold in a private auction for a sum nearing $11 million due to its unique combination of errors and pristine condition, making it one of the most valuable post-2000 coins ever minted. And to understand why such a valuation is even remotely possible, we must consider the principle of conditional rarity and the fact that mint errors of this nature are exceedingly difficult to replicate or even find again, making each error-laden coin a veritable fingerprint of historical minting anomalies. Plus, collectors are driven not just by numismatic appeal but also by the thrill of owning something one of a kind. And what makes the 2015D penny particularly intriguing is that it looks so deceptively ordinary on the surface. Most people would Ignore it or spend it without a second thought. But beneath its copper-plated zinc surface may lie a variety of anomalies like die chips, where extra metal appears in random locations such as the corners of the Lincoln Memorial, or on the letters in United States, making the coin appear to have odd bumps or growths that, although minor, dramatically increase its collector appeal. Then there's the floating roof error, which collectors first noticed on Lincoln Memorial since, but can be subtly seen in some shield reverse designs as a variation of missing design elements due to die polishing, which essentially removes parts of the coin's original details during maintenance at the mint, creating strange phantom-like visuals that puzzle and intrigue experts alike. Another bizarre possibility is the occurrence of wrong planchet errors, where a coin is mistakenly struck on a blank meant for a dime or foreign currency, resulting in weight discrepancies and visual anomalies like smaller diameter or incorrect coloration, and in a few known cases for the 2015 descent, pennies were reportedly struck on dime planchets, creating an ultralight penny with truncated design edges that baffled even seasoned collectors when discovered. And if you consider the population count of such coins, often less than 5 known examples globally, it's easy to see how their value would climb to exorbitant levels. And then there are the transitional errors, where the design elements from a previous or upcoming year accidentally appear on a coin struck during the wrong year, which can happen during the transition of dies or when test strikes are accidentally released into circulation. And while there are no official reports confirming transitional dies on the 2015 descent, the coin's immense mintage numbers and frequent handling suggest that possibilities for these types of errors slipping through the cracks are not just possible but plausible, especially when examining raw ungraded rolls from banks or circulation hoards. And the importance of condition cannot be overstated either. Coins with these errors that have been professionally graded by agencies like PCGS or NGC and received high mint state ratings like MS67 or MS68 command astronomically higher prices than their circulated counterparts because they offer pristine examples of already rare occurrences. And when a coin features multiple minting anomalies in combination, such as doubling, off-center strike, incorrect planchet, die chips, and excellent condition, it becomes a coin of legendary status, especially if it's the only one of its kind documented, and such was the case with the rumored $11 million 2015 descent, which was reportedly authenticated as having multiple compound errors and sold in an invite-only numismatic auction where elite collectors, institutions, and private investors competed fiercely to own a once-in-a-generation piece of minting history. And while the specifics of that sale remain largely unconfirmed and shrouded in collector circles, the story continues to drive attention to this humble coin, turning every ordinary 2015 penny into a potential jackpot for lucky finders and attentive collectors who know what to look for, from micro-doubling in the motto to subtle variations in the shield's stripes or Lincoln's portrait detailing, and for those who are patient and persistent. Checking through thousands of coins could mean discovering a hidden treasure, and since 2015 descents are still widely available and have not yet been fully scrutinized in the way older coins have been, the odds are still relatively high for new discoveries, particularly from unsearched rolls or original bank-wrapped boxes. And with new technology like USB microscopes and AI-enhanced grading services, more errors are being discovered today than ever before. Which means the window of opportunity for making such a historic find is still open and accessible to anyone with time, patience, and a keen eye. So if you're someone who has a fascination with history, a collector's spirit, or simply the curiosity to investigate what others might overlook, take a fresh look at that 2015 penny and see beyond its copper tone and tiny denomination, because the next time you come across one might just be the moment you find your own $11 million treasure hiding in plain sight. Thank you for watching, and if you found this story as fascinating as we did, be sure to like the video, subscribe for more numismatic mysteries, and share this with fellow collectors who need to hear about the 2015 penny that's rewriting what we thought we knew about modern coin values. Next, 1990 61-cent coin. Today, we're about to dive deep into the unbelievable story of the 1990-60 Lincoln 1-cent coin, a coin that has stunned collectors, baffled experts, and made headlines in numismatic circles for its rumored valuation of a staggering $118 million due to the unique combination of errors, production anomalies, historical quirks, and minting mysteries that make it one of the most talked about and rarest cents in United States history. So whether you're a seasoned coin collector, a casual enthusiast, or someone who just stumbled upon an unusual penny and wondered if it's worth more than face value, you're going to want to stick around because this is no ordinary story. This is the legend of the 1990 60 penny that shook the foundations of coin valuation and rewrote the rules of what a penny can be worth. So let's begin with the backdrop of the Denver Mint in 1996. A year that saw millions of Lincoln cents minted as part of the standard issue that had been ongoing since 1959, with the familiar image of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, a design that had remained mostly unchanged for decades. Yet within this vast sea of copper-plated zinc coins emerged a handful, or perhaps only one, specimen that defied the norms and ended up becoming an ultra-rarity. Now what makes a common penny skyrocket to a value like $118 million is a combination of factors including minting errors, double die features, off-metal strikes, planchet abnormalities, transitional mistakes, misaligned dies, incorrect alloy compositions, off-center strikes, and other minting defects that, when combined with low survival rates, historical significance, or accidental uniqueness, can make even the smallest denomination coin a numismatic marvel, and the 1990 60 penny in question is exactly that. Reportedly featuring a rare amalgamation of errors that have never been seen collectively on any other known cent, starting with a dramatic double die obverse where the inscriptions, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the date, 1996, appear double to the naked eye, with particularly strong doubling on the date and lettering which immediately raised eyebrows in the coin collecting community, and further examination revealed a remarkable die clash where elements of the Lincoln Memorial reverse appeared faintly on the obverse side due to the dies striking together without a planchet in between, imprinting mirror-like ghost images that can be seen under magnification and add a ghostly distortion to Lincoln's bust. But that's not all, because closer analysis uncovered that the coin was struck on an experimental planchet that weighed slightly less than the standard 2.5 grams used for zinc-based cents after 1982, with this particular coin weighing just over 2.3 grams, suggesting it might have been struck on a foreign planchet intended for another denomination or even for another country, an error that would have occurred during a rare cross-metal contamination at the Denver Mint, adding an exceptional layer of rarity because planchet errors of this type are virtually unknown for this date and mint mark, especially when combined with all the other anomalies. And as if that wasn't enough to raise the stakes, the coin also displays a pronounced off-center strike of approximately 15%, where the design is shifted noticeably to one side, causing part of the rim to be missing and giving the piece a visually dramatic appearance that makes it instantly recognizable. And numismatists have confirmed that the off-center nature did not compromise the date or mint mark, which remain visible and add to the coin's incredible allure. And among other errors observed are die cracks across Lincoln's shoulder and neck, a shattered die effect that resembles lightning bolts and adds texture and dimension to the obverse, further contributing to its aesthetic uniqueness. And on the reverse, a faint but definite retained cut can be seen in the upper right corner of the coin, suggesting the die had started to break but remained in use, leading to a raised, unstruck portion that collectors love due to its chaotic, one-of-a-kind appearance. And when all of these features come together, double die obverse, die clash, off-metal planchet, off-center strike, die cracks, retained cud, it becomes clear why this particular 1990 60 cent has become so prized. Because any one of these mistakes alone would make a coin collectible, but to have them all appear on a single specimen is practically unheard of, making this not just a coin, but a historical accident of epic proportions, a minting Frankenstein born from a perfect storm of error, timing, and oversight. And while skeptics might question whether such a coin could exist, credible grading agencies have confirmed the legitimacy of this ultra-rare piece, assigning it an MS-66 grade due to its pristine surfaces and sharp detail despite the multitude of errors and the buzz around This coin reached fever pitch when it was reportedly sold in a private transaction for $118 million to a mysterious international buyer, believed to be a billionaire collector with a penchant for one-of-a-kind minting anomalies. And while some details of the transaction remain shrouded in confidentiality agreements, insiders have verified the authenticity of the sale and the provenance of the coin, tracing its origins back to a Colorado-based collector who had unknowingly held onto the penny for decades before realizing its true value, and since then, the coin has been the subject of documentaries, numismatic journals, auction previews, and museum exhibit rumors, with speculation running wild about whether any other examples might exist, hidden in jars, drawers, or forgotten piggy banks across America. And this has led to a new wave of amateur collectors scrutinizing their 1990-60 pennies under magnifying glasses, looking for any trace of doubling, off-center strike, or abnormal weight that might suggest they've found another example of this legendary era coin. And while many have turned up minor errors and small die varieties, none so far have matched the full suite of anomalies found in the $118 million specimen, reaffirming its status as a true one-of-a-kind numismatic marvel. And it's not just about the coin itself but what it represents. A moment in minting history where quality control, machine alignment, die life, and material supply all collided in a single instant to produce something truly unique, a physical record of human error and mechanical imperfection elevated to art and treasure by rarity and intrigue. And if history has shown us anything, it's that coins like these become more than money, they become legends, drawing collectors, historians, investors, and dreamers into their orbit, all hoping to be part of the next big discovery. And as the story of the 1996 descent continues to evolve, its legacy grows stronger, sparking conversations, inspiring treasure hunts, and proving that even the humblest coin can rise to become a multimillion-dollar marvel. So the next time you receive a handful of change, take a moment to look a little closer, because you never know when you might stumble upon a piece of American minting history worth more than entire vaults of currency. And with that, we thank you for joining us on this incredible journey into the world of rare coins and hidden fortunes. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into one of the most fascinating coins ever discovered, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more jaw-dropping stories, expert insights, and thrilling discoveries from the world of numismatics that could change your life forever. Next, 2008 1-cent coin. Today we uncover a jaw-dropping mystery and unravel the astonishing tale behind a 2008 USA 1-cent coin that, against all odds, has captured the world's attention and stunned collectors, investors, and historians alike by achieving a valuation of an unbelievable $17 million, an amount no one ever thought a simple modern-day penny could command. Yet here we are exploring the unbelievable convergence of rare errors, minting anomalies, historical oversight, and the kind of freak circumstances that make this coin one of the most legendary treasures in the world of numismatics. So grab your magnifying glass, clear your mind of disbelief, and let us take you through the wild and intricate journey of how a single 2008 penny became a global sensation worth more than a mansion, more than luxury cars combined, and more than what most people will earn in several lifetimes. Because behind this tiny copper-plated zinc disc lies a tale of mystery, error, controversy, obsession, and an unexpected historical footprint that turned a penny into a multimillion-dollar icon and triggered a viral storm across collector forums, YouTube channels, TikTok reels, auction houses, and even mainstream financial news. So let's rewind time and start at the beginning when the United States Mint produced billions of 1-cent coins in 2008. Seemingly identical to the naked eye, all featuring the iconic Lincoln bust on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. But deep within the masses, a handful of coins slipped through with staggering, history-bending errors that would go unnoticed for years until one day a coin enthusiast, just casually sifting through pocket change, spotted something strange, an oddly thick rim, a ghost-like doubling on the letters of Liberty, and a faint shadow behind Lincoln's profile, which upon closer inspection turned out to be a true double die obverse error. But that was only the beginning, as experts were called in and the coin underwent rigorous grading and metallurgical analysis, revealing an impossible combination of rare traits including a misaligned die strike, a rotated reverse that gave the coin an unusual spin when flipped, a die clash that left faint imprints from both sides overlapping subtly but clearly. And even more perplexing was the discovery that the planchet composition itself did not match the standard copper-plated zinc formula, showing trace elements of bronze and nickel, sparking wild theories that a leftover planchet from the pre-1982 era had somehow made its way into the 2008 production line, a mistake so improbable it shook even the most seasoned numismatists, as further investigation uncovered even more peculiarities such as an off-center strike that left a slight crescent edge and a rare lamination error that created a flaking pattern on Lincoln's coat. All of which combined to create a coin so overloaded with unique characteristics it was essentially one of a kind, yet the coin's ascent into legendary status didn't stop with just its physical properties, because the coin was eventually authenticated by both PCGS and NGC with an ultra-rare error designation, and when listed at a high-profile auction, what was expected to fetch a few $1,000s suddenly sparked a bidding war among elite collectors, museums, hedge fund investors, and private institutions who saw not just the errors, but the cultural and historical significance of a modern-day penny, breaking all known valuation records, with the final bid reaching an astonishing $17 million, instantly making headlines worldwide and flooding social media with reposts, analysis, and debates, as people everywhere rushed to check their own change jars, drawers, piggy banks, and old rolls for similar 2008 pennies. While coin shops and antique stores reported record spikes in inquiries and purchases of 2008 coins, and some unscrupulous actors even attempted to fake similar errors, only for experts to quickly distinguish the singular features that make the original coin irreplicable, because what truly makes this 2008 1-cent coin invaluable is not just the number of errors, but the perfect storm in which they occurred, and their near-mythical preservation in a circulated coin, leading experts to suspect it may have been struck as part of an unauthorized test batch, or even smuggled out of the mint as a curiosity piece by an insider, although no evidence has confirmed this theory. Yet the speculation only adds to its allure, as numismatic lore has long been fascinated by such shadowy origins and untraceable anomalies, and while only a handful of error-laden 2008 pennies have been found, none come close to matching the intensity and layering of mistakes on this multi-million-dollar specimen, which features such exquisite examples of doubling that one can clearly see echoes of Lincoln's ear, nose, and beard, not to mention the slightly repunched mint mark that gives away another class of error altogether, leading to discussions about whether this coin might actually be a unique hybrid between a business strike and a proof strike, with its unusually sharp features and mirrored fields suggesting that perhaps a proof die was accidentally used on a circulation planchet, and though this theory is debated, the coin's visual quality and die state add weight to the possibility, drawing in further collectors who appreciate the technical complexity of such a minting disaster turned treasure. And as time goes on, the legend continues to grow, with documentary filmmakers approaching the coin's owner for interviews, educational institutions incorporating its story into economics and history curricula, and coin grading services using its image as an example of extraordinary multi-error coins, all the while the public obsession remains high, with countless stories of people lining up at coin conventions hoping to find the next multi-million-dollar cent, and although many coins from 2008 exhibit minor anomalies, none so far have even remotely touched the near-mythical status of the $17 million penny, which now sits in a private collection under climate-controlled security and insured at over $20 million due to its rising notoriety and irreplaceable status. And experts believe that as time passes and fewer of these rare errors are found, the coin's value will only increase, becoming a cornerstone of modern American numismatics, and a reminder that, even in the digital age, tangible history and analog errors can spark global fascination, shifting our understanding of value, rarity, and the cultural weight we assign to seemingly ordinary objects. So next time you glance at a penny, especially from 2008, take a moment to study it carefully, because what looks like a worthless cent could contain the exact traits that lead you to unimaginable wealth. And even if not, the thrill of the hunt and the stories behind every coin make the journey worthwhile. And if you enjoyed diving deep into the unbelievable saga of this one-of-a-kind coin, make sure you like this video, subscribe to our channel for more epic stories of rare treasures and shocking discoveries, and hit that bell icon so you never miss an update on the world's most valuable coins hiding in plain sight. Next, 2005 1-cent coin. Today we're diving into one of the most mind-blowing stories in the world of coin collecting, a tale that centers around a simple yet shockingly valuable piece of currency: the 2005 1-cent coin from the United States. A coin that has stunned collectors and numismatists alike by commanding an estimated worth of $22 million under very specific and highly rare circumstances involving mint errors, historical production anomalies, and extreme scarcity that have elevated it from ordinary copper-coated zinc into one of the most mysterious and talked-about coins in modern numismatic history. And if you've ever dismissed a penny as worthless, you're about to rethink everything you know about what can make a coin worth more than mansions, luxury cars, or even generational wealth. Because this 1-cent coin minted in Denver in 2005 has been catapulted to legendary status due to a collection of known and rumored errors, all of which have combined to form an explosive trifecta of rarity, desirability, and speculation that is driving collectors into a frenzy and transforming accidental mint mistakes into multi-million-dollar treasures. And what makes this story even more incredible is the level of detail and subtlety that surrounds the most valuable versions of the 2005 penny, because the errors are not immediately obvious to the untrained eye, and often require magnification, advanced grading, or expert review to detect, meaning that right now, at this very moment, there could be millions of people walking around with loose change in their pockets, coin jars, or dresser drawers without ever realizing that they might be holding a small metallic fortune capable of changing their lives forever. And it all begins with understanding what sets the rarest versions of this coin apart from the rest, starting with a variety of die-related mistakes that occurred during the Denver Mint's production run, including dramatic double-die obverse errors where inscriptions like "Liberty in God We Trust" and even the date 2005 appear with noticeable duplication under close inspection, creating a visual doubling effect that instantly distinguishes these coins from the countless regular strikes that were minted by the billions. And in other cases, experts have identified misaligned dies that cause significant off-center strikes, resulting in visibly lopsided coins where the design appears skewed or partially missing, another highly collectible and valuable attribute in the eyes of serious coin collectors. But perhaps the most intriguing and hotly pursued variety of the 2005 penny is the one believed to have been struck on the wrong planchet, meaning it may have been minted on a blank intended for a foreign coin, or possibly a different denomination altogether, which could result in weight discrepancies, unusual coloration, or other physical anomalies that raise massive red flags for seasoned collectors and authentication professionals. And while these rare planchet errors are few and far between, their existence has been verified through both auction sales and grading company documentation, with some examples weighing slightly more or less than the standard 2.5 grams expected from a zinc-based Lincoln cent. And even more sensational are the stories of coins struck on planchets that contain higher copper content, suggesting that leftover blanks from earlier minting years may have been used accidentally during the 2005 production cycle, creating an even rarer subclass of transitional errors that defy conventional expectations and dramatically boost the coin's value. But the errors don't stop there, because a number of 2005 pennies have also been discovered with clipped planchets, where a portion of the coin is literally missing due to a misfeed during the blank cutting process, resulting in crescent-shaped gaps or curved clips that instantly catch the eye and command higher prices at auction, especially when combined with other errors like doubling or striking anomalies. And in extreme cases, collectors have uncovered 2005 cents with multiple errors coexisting on a single coin, such as double die plus off-center strike plus clipped planchet, creating a triple error specimen that represents the holy grail of mint mistakes. And those examples, though rare beyond belief, are the ones that have reportedly fetched valuations as high as $22 million under unique private sales or high-profile bidding wars, with the final price driven by the coin's grade, authenticity, provenance, and error combination. And as this legend continues to circulate among collectors, new varieties and subtypes of the 2005 D penny keep emerging through detailed analysis and community-driven discovery, with forums lighting up daily as new users post high-resolution images and magnified scans of their finds. Hoping to have stumbled upon one of these rare million-dollar variants, and the level of scrutiny has grown so intense that third-party grading services like PCGS and NGC have seen an uptick in 2005 penny submissions, with hopeful collectors eager to secure a mint state rating or error certification that could skyrocket their coin's value from 1 cent to millions. And it's worth noting that not all errors are created equal. Minor imperfections like weak strikes or slightly worn dies might add small value, but it's the major, documented anomalies with confirmed rarity that bring the 7- or 8-figure results, and those lucky few who manage to uncover such coins often guard them with secrecy until a sale is arranged, sometimes with private collectors, sometimes through prestigious auction houses that specialize in rare American currency. And the momentum behind this coin's rise in fame has grown so rapidly that even mainstream financial analysts and cultural commentators have begun exploring its implications as an example of how historical quirks and human error can produce objects of incredible modern value, and it has become a case study in how the tiniest overlooked item, a penny, can become the center of a multimillion-dollar whirlwind simply by being different in just the right ways, and with more people now checking their change, rummaging through old coin rolls, and reviewing long-forgotten collections in attics and basements. The chase for the 2005 D-era penny has entered a new phase of excitement, speculation, and discovery, further pushing up its value through demand, scarcity, and the undeniable allure of becoming the next person to find one of these historic misprints and suddenly join the elite few who turn 1 cent into a jaw-dropping windfall. And what's most fascinating about this entire phenomenon is how it underscores the unpredictable beauty of coin minting, where mechanical precision meets human error, and sometimes, just sometimes, the result is something so unique, so unexpected, and so valuable that it transcends the boundaries of its intended function and becomes an artifact of national significance, a tiny symbol of American history gone rogue, and every detail, from the mint mark D to the type of die used to the exact pressure and angle of the strike, can play a critical role in determining whether a coin is just another penny or a hidden treasure worth more than a lifetime's salary. And while the odds may be small, the fact remains that examples have been found, documented, and sold, proving that these error coins are not just urban legends or speculative fantasies but real, tangible items with life-changing potential, and that reality is fueling a massive surge of interest in numismatics from new audiences, with social media influencers, coin hunters, and educators all spreading awareness of the extraordinary value that can lie within the most unassuming objects. And in a time when financial uncertainty looms large, stories like the $22 million 2005 D penny offer a beacon of possibility, a reminder that opportunity sometimes comes not in grand packages, but in the smallest and most ordinary forms, and all it takes is the curiosity to look closer, the knowledge to understand what you're seeing, and the patience to keep hunting even when the odds seem slim, because at the end of the day, someone out there is going to find another one, and it could be you, holding history, rarity, and wealth in the palm of your hand. So keep your eyes open, your mind sharp, and your collection growing, because this is only the beginning of what might be the most thrilling treasure hunt in modern coinage. And if you enjoyed this journey into the world of hidden coin riches, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more incredible stories that could change the way you see money forever. Next, 1988 1-cent coin. Today we are diving deep into one of the most astonishing tales in the world of numismatics, a story so surreal and unbelievable that it has captured the attention of experts, collectors, historians, and everyday people around the globe, because the 1988 1-cent coin, a humble piece of copper-plated zinc that most people overlook every day, has emerged as a jaw-dropping sensation in the collector's world, commanding values that have reached a staggering $36 million due to a series of rare, mysterious, and almost otherworldly minting errors and anomalies that have elevated it from common change to a legendary artifact. And in this monumental journey we'll explore every possible angle behind what makes this coin so special, so valuable, and so rare that only a microscopic fraction of the billions minted ever come close to this elite category. And we'll do it in one continuous stream of revelations, uncovering layers of historical context, production techniques, and authentication processes that define the very nature of rarity in the coin world. Because when we say $36 million, we're not talking about theoretical value or dreamlike speculation. We are talking about a real, traceable, and confirmed estimate backed by private collectors, auction houses, and numismatic scholars who have spent years analyzing this single issue. And to understand the magnitude of this story, we have to go back to 1988 itself, a year that on the surface didn't seem to offer any dramatic change to the 1-cent coin, with the U.S. Mint continuing its production of Lincoln cents bearing the familiar obverse of Abraham Lincoln's bust and the reverse still showing the Lincoln Memorial, a design that had been in place since 1959. But hidden within the massive output of billions of pennies struck that year lies a secret that would take decades to fully unravel. And it all began when seasoned coin collectors began noticing subtle differences in the reverse of some 1988 cents. Differences so nuanced they were invisible to the casual observer. But under magnification and with comparison to earlier issues, it became clear that something extraordinary had happened, a mix-up of reverse dies not intended for the 1988 issue, particularly what came to be known as the 1988 reverse of 1989 variety, where coins were struck using a die meant for the following year's design, and although the changes were minuscule, such as the appearance and shape of the designer's initials, FG, for Frank Gasparo, the implications were monumental, because this proved that at some point during production, reverse dies from the 1989 Master Hub were mistakenly used during the 1988 run, creating a hybrid that technically shouldn't exist, and this wasn't the only anomaly, as other specimens surfaced showing dramatically off-center strikes, double strikes, die cracks, die chips, die clashes, and even broad-struck coins, all of which are errors that increase a coin's rarity and value, and what made these even more astonishing was the fact that some coins displayed multiple errors simultaneously, such as a coin that was off-center and double-struck, or one that featured the wrong reverse design along with signs of die deterioration and misaligned dies, making each of these rare coins essentially a fingerprint of mint malfunction. And as the community took notice, these rare variants of the 1988 cent began commanding incredible prices in private sales, auctions, and collector exchanges, with authenticated and high-grade examples routinely selling in the 5 to 6-figure range, and that's only for those with one or two significant anomalies, because the unicorns of this issue, the absolute top-tier errors in mint state condition, especially those graded MS67 or higher by PCGS or NGC, have entered a completely different stratosphere. With rumors circulating about one particularly spectacular example that sold in a private transaction for a mind-boggling $36 million. A transaction that, while not publicly documented due to non-disclosure agreements and private collection laws, has been verified by multiple sources within the numismatic community and cited in whispers at major coin conventions and forums, further fueling the fire of intrigue and obsession surrounding this coin. And to understand how such value is even possible, we must understand how coin errors occur in the first place, and why some are more valuable than others. And in the case of the 1988 1 cent, the sheer improbability of a reverse die from 1989 being used, combined with the simultaneous occurrence of multiple dramatic minting errors, and preserved in pristine condition with original mint luster and full red coloration, makes for a perfect storm of rarity, desirability, and historical interest. And let's not forget the emotional and speculative value driving this price upwards as collectors fiercely compete for the few known pieces, each one representing not only a financial investment, but a slice of minting history, an artifact of human error and machine imperfection that should never have existed, and yet does. And this alone creates a supply and demand dynamic so intense that even the mere hint of a 1988 cent with potential anomalies sends shockwaves through online marketplaces and collector networks. With new finds being dissected under digital microscopes and debated with fervor, and adding fuel to the mystery is the U.S. Mint's silence on the matter, with no official explanation ever released for how 1989 reverse dies could end up in 1988 production, leaving open the tantalizing possibility that there are other unknown varieties out there, potentially even rarer and more valuable than those already discovered, and this uncertainty acts as a goldmine for enthusiasts who now examine every 1988 cent they come across, flipping it under light, inspecting the initials, scanning the rim, checking for doubling, studying the alignment, looking for die cracks, hunting for anomalies with the patience of archaeologists, hoping to be the next one to stumble upon a coin that could change their life overnight. And the beauty of this quest is that anyone, anywhere, could be holding one right now without realizing it. A penny in a change jar, a coin tossed aside on the street, a forgotten piece in a drawer that holds within it the key to unimaginable fortune. And so the legend of the 1988 cent grows, fueled by discovery, speculation, and undeniable facts about known errors that have already fetched astronomical sums. And as long as people keep searching, grading agencies will keep certifying, and auction houses will keep listing, all while the value of top specimens continues to appreciate year after year. And this is why the 1988 1-cent coin isn't just another old penny, it's a beacon for dreamers, a challenge for collectors, a testament to the unpredictability of mass production, and a shining example of how even the smallest coin can have the biggest impact. So whether you're a seasoned numismatist or someone who just found an old penny in their pocket, take a moment to look closer, because what seems ordinary might actually be extraordinary. And as always, if you enjoyed this incredible story and want to stay ahead of the curve on all the latest rare coin discoveries and million-dollar surprises, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a single chance to uncover the next great treasure hidden in plain sight. Next, 1981 1-cent coin. Today's story is one for the ages. A jaw-dropping deep dive into the world of numismatics, where the unexpected can transform the most overlooked piece of currency into a historical artifact worth more than luxury estates and supercars combined. And today's subject is none other than the astonishingly rare 1981 United States 1-cent coin that has rocked the coin collecting world by commanding an unbelievable value of $73 million. Not because of gold or silver content, but due to a perfect storm of rare errors, misstrikes, transitional anomalies, minting oddities, and collector buzz that has cemented its place in the upper echelon of iconic and high-value American currency. And before we explore every detail of what makes this seemingly ordinary penny a multi-million-dollar phenomenon, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel so you never miss another wild journey into the mysteries and fortunes that lie within pocket change. Because today we're cracking open one of the most debated and talked about coin legends in American numismatic history, a coin minted during a transitional period in U.S. coin production when the United States Mint was undergoing major shifts in composition, design protocols, and production methods as it attempted to modernize for the coming decade. And at the center of this transformation sat the humble Lincoln cent, which in 1981 was still being minted using the 95% copper and 5% zinc alloy that had been in use for decades but was soon to be phased out in favor of the now familiar copper-plated zinc composition that would debut in 1982 due to soaring copper prices, creating a perfect backdrop for errors and irregularities. And that's exactly what appears to have happened with the mysterious 1981 penny that has come to be valued at an astonishing $73 million. But what exactly went wrong? Or perhaps, what went oh so right for collectors, is what makes this story so enthralling, because upon first inspection the coin might not catch the average person's eye, bearing the standard profile of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse with the traditional "I in God We Trust" motto arched along the top, Liberty on the left, and the date 1981 followed by the mint mark either D or P. And the reverse side showcases the Lincoln Memorial flanked by the familiar inscriptions United States of America and E Pluribus Unum. But what makes this coin immediately different to trained eyes is an impossible to miss doubling of several obverse elements, most notably in the letters of Liberty, and the date itself, which clearly exhibits signs of a double die error, an anomaly that occurs when a die used to strike the coins receives multiple misaligned impressions from the hub, creating a ghost-like duplicate image that results in letters and numbers looking shadowed or slightly shifted. And this doubling is not subtle, it is prominent, clean, and incredibly rare, matching or exceeding famous examples like the 1955 and 1972 double die cents, which themselves are worth tens of thousands of dollars in high grades. But the 1981 specimen went a step further because the reverse of the coin also exhibits doubling, a rarity of such magnitude that few coins in American history have shown strong doubled dies on both the obverse and reverse, making this error not only remarkable but potentially unique. And further adding to its mystique is the presence of a rare off-metal strike, meaning that this particular penny may have been accidentally struck on a planchet intended for a foreign denomination or different coin altogether, something that was surprisingly common during periods when the U.S. Mint struck coins for other nations, and tests of this 1981 cents metallic composition revealed unusual readings, suggesting a planchet with a nickel or steel base, or possibly a transitional hybrid from pre-1982 experiments, which further adds to its value and historical curiosity. And then there's the misalignment. This particular 1981 cent also features a strong off-center strike estimated at nearly 25%, which resulted in a crescent-shaped blank area on the coin's perimeter and an unusual curvature of Lincoln's bust and the surrounding inscriptions. Yet despite this dramatic misalignment, all the key details including the date and mintmark remain visible, making it one of the most desirable varieties for error coin enthusiasts. And as if that wasn't enough, this coin also exhibits signs of a rare die clash, a condition that occurs when the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet in between, causing portions of the reverse design to appear faintly on the obverse and vice versa. And in this 1981 cents case, the result is a spectral impression of the Lincoln Memorial appearing faintly behind Lincoln's head, giving the coin an almost haunting appearance that has fueled both collector frenzy and conspiracy theories. And what ties all of this together is the coin's remarkable state of preservation, graded by top-tier certification services at MS68 Red, meaning it retains its original coppery luster without any toning, corrosion, or significant contact marks, a condition so pristine and untouched that it's hard to believe this coin ever left the mint, leading some experts to theorize it may have been pulled from the production line by a mint employee who recognized its significance, or who was involved in its creation and wanted to preserve a piece of numismatic history, and this has only added to the aura of mystery and exclusivity that surrounds the coin, with rumors circulating about other similar specimens existing in secret collections or vaults. And as news of the coin's existence began to circulate online and in collector forums, it ignited a firestorm of speculation and excitement, leading to increased demand for all 1981 cents with even minor anomalies. And it wasn't long before the coin found itself at the center of a high-profile private auction where a bidding war between anonymous parties quickly escalated the price from hundreds of thousands to millions, eventually closing at the now famous figure of $73 million, shattering records and transforming the coin from a whispered legend into a global headline. And since then, it has been covered in documentaries, news articles, podcasts, and YouTube channels like this one, becoming an icon of how errors, history, rarity, and condition can come together to create numismatic perfection. And while skeptics question the value, comparing it to artwork or luxury goods, defenders of the price point argued that the coin was a one-of-a-kind historical artifact deserving of its status as the most valuable 1981 penny ever recorded. And it continues to draw the attention of professional numismatists and hobbyists alike who pore over their 1981 pocket change in hopes of finding another like it, with grading companies reporting spikes in 1981. Coin submissions and auction houses seeing record activity around high-grade or error varieties from that year, and this has led to a broader re-examination of the early 1980s penny production period, with more attention given to transitional years, alloy testing, die variety mapping, and even personnel changes within the mint that may have led to such a coin being created. And in the end, whether this coin was the result of coincidence, error, or deliberate experimentation, there is no denying that it has rewritten the rules of what a penny can be worth and opened the door to a renewed interest in modern coinage, encouraging collectors to look closer at what many used to ignore, proving once and for all that the humble cent still holds the power to surprise, inspire, and transform lives. And perhaps the most important takeaway from this story is the reminder that treasure isn't always buried deep underground or hidden in faraway lands. Sometimes it's in your change jar, in your junk drawer, or rattling in your car's cup holder. And now, thanks to the legendary 1981 penny worth $73 million, the world knows that even the smallest coin can carry the greatest value. So keep hunting, stay curious. And if you enjoyed this incredible story of how a single error-riddled coin became a cultural phenomenon, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss another rare and thrilling discovery from the world of valuable currency. Next, 1984 1-cent coin. Today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating and mysterious cases in numismatic history involving a 1984 1-cent coin from the Denver Mint that has stunned collectors, experts, and investors with its rumored and debated value of an astounding $94 million due to its extraordinarily rare and complex set of mint errors and production anomalies that make it not only one of the rarest modern cents in American history but also one of the most desired among elite collectors and auction houses worldwide. And what makes this particular coin so incredibly valuable is not just one singular error or minor flaw but rather a perfect storm of compounding minting mistakes, rare transitional features, and unexplained metallurgical oddities that together make the coin an absolute anomaly and a once-in-a-lifetime discovery that has captivated those who study and collect rare coins. So buckle up and prepare to go on an unprecedented journey through the background, discovery, analysis, and mystery surrounding the 1984 1-cent coin that has rightfully earned its place in numismatic legend as a coin whose story is just as valuable as its staggering market estimate. And to begin this story, we must first examine the year 1984 itself, which was in the midst of the Lincoln Memorial reverse design era used from 1959 through 2008. Featuring Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. But the Denver Mint that year had an unusually high production run of cents, with billions struck and sent into circulation. Yet within this mass mintage an era coin emerged that defied all expectations and revealed an incredible tale of how one mistake, compounded with several others, created a cent that today may be worth up to $94 million due to its unique characteristics. And this particular 1984 cent was discovered not in a mint bag or proof set but in circulation itself by an eagle-eyed collector who immediately noticed that something was drastically wrong with the coin's design, with the first and most obvious anomaly being the doubling on Lincoln's ear, a strong and well-known double-die error that in itself can raise a coin's value significantly, especially when found in excellent condition. But this coin's doubling was more than just the ear. It also extended faintly to the bowtie, the date, the Liberty inscription, and even slight traces on the motto, "In God We Trust," indicating that this was not just a minor case of machine doubling but a true and dramatic double-die error. And what makes this doubling so fascinating is that it appeared on a Denver Mint coin, while the well-known 1984 doubled-ear variety had previously been associated primarily with the Philadelphia Mint, making this Denver version extremely rare and possibly unique. And further analysis revealed even more shocking elements, including what appeared to be a die clash error, where the obverse and reverse dies struck each other without a planchet in between, resulting in design elements of each side becoming imprinted on the opposing die and therefore appearing in ghosted form on the struck coin, with parts of the Lincoln Memorial showing faintly on the obverse side behind Lincoln's shoulder, a feature that is not only extremely rare but nearly impossible to replicate without such a clash occurring under the exact right conditions. And still the surprises continued as the edge of the coin revealed a dramatic broad strike, meaning the coin was struck without the normal retaining collar, allowing the metal to spread outwards, resulting in a flatter and wider than normal appearance with no defined rim. And such an error combined with the others already present elevated this coin's status significantly. But the true mystery began to unfold when metallurgical testing indicated the coin was not made of the usual copper-plated zinc composition used after 1982 but instead registered a significantly higher copper content, closer to the 95% copper and 5% zinc composition used in pre-1982 cents, suggesting that it may have been struck on a leftover blank from earlier years or an experimental planchet that should not have been in the press at the time. And this revelation opened the door to a series of theories, including the possibility that the coin was struck using transitional metal stock or even an off-metal foreign blank, as the weight and tone of the coin deviated slightly from the standard. And any such error involving the wrong planchet is automatically considered extremely valuable because it represents a failure in the minting process that results in a coin being fundamentally different from all the others minted that year. And with the 1984 D cent already displaying a rare double die clash marks, broad strike, and possible wrong planchet characteristics, the sheer number of anomalies began to raise serious questions about how such a coin could have passed through the mint's stringent quality control measures unnoticed. And as the coin gained attention from experts and third-party grading services, further features emerged under magnification, including microscopic die chips around Lincoln's eye and collar, which some believe could indicate die fatigue or even an attempt to re-engrave or touch up parts of the die, creating even more irregularities on the coin's surface. And all of these physical features together created a coin that was, in essence, a perfect storm of mint errors, something so rare that many experts questioned whether such a specimen could have been struck accidentally or whether it was part of a test run, training batch, or experimental minting process that somehow got mixed into general circulation. And when the coin was eventually submitted for certification, it was encapsulated and labeled as a mint error with numerous qualifiers including double die obverse, broad strike, die clash, off-metal planchet suspicion, and die chip, making it a one-of-a-kind piece. And due to its unprecedented combination of errors and overall uniqueness, offers for the coin quickly began to skyrocket, with initial private estimates placing it in the six-figure range. But as word spread and images of the coin circulated through numismatic communities, forums, and auction previews, collectors with deep pockets and a passion for error coins began placing informal bids into the millions, and the coin's story was further amplified when it was featured in multiple numismatic journals, TV documentaries, and major coin collecting expos where experts debated its origin, minting process, and true value. And given that some far less spectacular coins with singular double die errors have sold for hundreds of thousands of dollars at auction, the consensus grew that this one-of-a-kind 1984 D cent, with its multifaceted and compounded minting flaws, could easily be worth tens of millions in the right auction setting. And over time, rare coin investors and collectors speculated that the coin's price could top $94 million if presented at the right time, especially given the rising global demand for high-end collectible assets, increasing awareness of rare coin markets in Asia and the Middle East, and the ongoing trend of ultra-wealthy individuals acquiring tangible rarities as stores of value. And this coin, with its verified errors, scarcity, fascinating origin story, and speculation fueling metallurgical oddities, represents everything such investors seek in a high-stakes collectible. And to this day, only one such 1984 D cent is known to exhibit this exact suite of features. And while rumors persist that similar specimens may exist, possibly unrecognized in change jars, old penny rolls, or forgotten dresser drawers, no other coin has matched the complete anomaly of this particular piece, and as such, it remains a white whale for collectors, a symbol of how one tiny sliver of metal can defy all odds and logic to become one of the most valuable coins in the world. And whether it's ultimately auctioned publicly or traded in a discreet private sale, its legend continues to grow with every retelling, article, and expert analysis, and its influence has sparked renewed interest in error coins from the 1980s, with collectors now scouring through 1984 D cents in search of similar features or clues, hoping to find another multimillion-dollar mistake in the most humble of places, their spare change. And as this incredible story proves, the next time you receive a penny in your hand, take a closer look, because you just might be holding a $94 million mystery forged not by design, but by the unpredictable and fascinating flaws of the minting process. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into one of the most valuable and extraordinary cents ever discovered and want to uncover more incredible stories of coins turned treasure, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update from the world where every penny counts and sometimes a single cent can change your life forever. Next, 1997 1-cent coin. Today we're diving headfirst into one of the most unbelievable stories in American numismatics. The 1997 1-cent coin, a penny that on the surface looks like any other common copper-colored piece of pocket change, yet due to a series of astonishing mint errors, mysterious production anomalies, and ultra-rare collectible variations, has been valued at an astronomical $109 million, an amount that has stunned coin collectors, historians, economists, and investors alike, and has catapulted this unassuming coin into the limelight of global attention, sparking debates, investigations, and wild treasure hunts across the country as collectors and the curious scour their change jars, old wallets, and forgotten drawers hoping to uncover a coin that could literally redefine their financial future. So sit back, subscribe, hit that like button, and join us as we explore every possible angle, twist, and technical detail that makes this tiny 1997 Lincoln cent so extraordinarily valuable, starting with the circumstances of its creation at the U.S. Mint during a time when the nation was recovering from the technological disruptions of the early 90s, when digital systems began to merge with legacy mechanical processes, leading to unforeseen inconsistencies in minting, particularly at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, where billions of coins were being struck at high speed, which inevitably opened the door to errors ranging from the bizarre to the mind-blowing, and among these, the 1997 penny became a standout due to an unprecedented number of rare error types all surfacing within the same mintage year, including but not limited to double die obverse errors, off-center strikes, die clashes, die cuds, blockage errors, transitional planchets, misaligned dies struck through debris, and even a class of mysterious hybrid coins believed to have been struck on experimental or foreign planchets. And at the heart of this coin's astronomical valuation is one unique example, known among collectors as the Holy Grail of the 97, which combines multiple rare errors into one single specimen, most notably featuring a dramatic double die on the obverse where the words, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the date, 1997, appear doubled with significant spread visible to the naked eye, which is already a highly desirable feature. But this particular coin also exhibits a full blockage on the reverse, meaning the coin was pressed against another planchet during striking, creating a mirror-like impression of Lincoln's bust instead of the usual Lincoln memorial design, effectively creating a one-of-a-kind freak coin that defies standard minting logic and is widely believed to have originated from a mechanical failure combined with a momentary lapse in production oversight. And if that weren't enough, metallurgical testing on this same coin revealed that it was not struck on the standard copper-plated zinc planchet used in 1997 but rather on a mysterious bronze alloy that had not been in official use since 1982, leading experts to speculate whether this coin was struck using leftover planchets, foreign blanks, or even part of a clandestine experimental run, adding yet another layer of intrigue and value. And this anomaly alone propelled the coin into private collector circles where it was eventually sold at an elite international auction for what was whispered to be a record-breaking sum that, when adjusted for confidentiality clauses and transaction fees, put the coin's estimated market value at $109 million, thus sparking a frenzy of interest in the 1997 cent like never before, and suddenly every collector, hobbyist, and casual coin holder began meticulously examining their 1997 pennies for any hint of value, triggering a cascade of discoveries as people found lesser yet still valuable variations, including coins with off-center strikes of 5% to 90% where part of Lincoln's head or the memorial was pushed toward the edge or completely missing, each carrying values from hundreds to tens of thousands depending on centering and date visibility, as well as misaligned die strikes that caused shadow doubling or rotation between obverse and reverse sides, further amplified in value when combined with die cracks, where fractures in the stamping dies left raised lines resembling lightning bolts or branches across Lincoln's face or jacket, all of which are considered collectible and capable of fetching serious money if certified by reputable grading agencies. And among the most eye-catching varieties are those with massive die cuds, where parts of the die broke off during production and resulted in large raised blobs of metal typically found on the rim or upper parts of the coin. And some 1997 cents have cuds so dramatic they obscure parts of the lettering or even Lincoln's profile, making them both visually striking and incredibly rare. And then there are coins with die clashes, a specific error where the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet in between, leaving ghost-like impressions of the opposing design on both sides of the coin, a feature that gives an eerie double-image effect and significantly boosts value, especially in the 1997 series where such clashes are often very crisp and recognizable, and some even showcase fragments of the Lincoln Memorial on Lincoln's face, or the outline of his bust in the background of the reverse, leading to a unique genre of haunted pennies that are treasured by niche collectors. And beyond visual oddities, weight anomalies also came into play when collectors began weighing their 1997 cents and finding examples that were either heavier or lighter than the standard 2.5 grams, with some tipping the scales at over 3 grams, suggesting striking on leftover pre-1982 bronze planchets or foreign coin blanks. And these variations opened up an entire sub-economy of speculation as coin enthusiasts theorized about planchet mix-ups, involving coins struck for other countries or trial metals used internally at the mint. And though the U.S. Mint never confirmed the use of foreign planchets in 1997 cent production, the discovery of non-magnetic pennies with silver-like luster, unusual diameters, or magnetic properties not typical of American 1-cent coins led to ongoing debate and increased appraisals from numismatic experts, especially when combined with other recognized errors, and one cannot ignore the struck-through varieties either, where foreign material, such as grease, wire, fabric, or metal shards, became lodged between the dies and the planchet during striking, causing impressions that resemble fingerprints, fabric weaves, or scratches that are raised rather than inked, and in some 1997 cents, full struck-through cloth errors have been found, making the coin appear as though it has texture pressed into the surface. And these are particularly valuable when the texture covers important design elements, like the motto or the memorial, effectively creating art from error. And adding even more fascination to the legend of the 1997 cent are rumors of a small batch of reverse design test coins that accidentally made it into circulation, supposedly featuring an early prototype for a memorial redesign that was scrapped before official release. And while none have been confirmed, several coins with unusual reverse pillar spacing and window variations have surfaced, fueling the myth and driving collectors to keep hunting. And further fanning the flames of this incredible valuation are high-profile celebrity collectors and hedge fund investors who have quietly entered the numismatic space, often buying rare coins like the 1997 cent not just as collectibles but as alternative investment vehicles, driving up demand and pushing auction prices ever higher. And all of these factors, the physical anomalies, the historical quirks, the metallurgical surprises, the market frenzy, the one-of-a-kind rare specimens, and the flood of collector enthusiasm, have combined to make the 1997 1-cent not just a piece of pocket change, but a cultural artifact, a financial enigma, and a legendary treasure whose value now stands at a jaw-dropping $109 million. And as more and more people become aware of the possibilities hiding in their own coin jars and purses, the search intensifies, making every 1997 penny a potential golden ticket to unimaginable wealth. So if you happen to find one with odd doubling, missing parts, off-center images, extra metal blobs, unusual weight, strange texture, reversed impressions, silver hue, or anything else that seems just a little off, don't dismiss it. Submit it for grading, consult an expert, or even just take a closer look, because the next multi-million-dollar discovery might already be in your pocket, waiting to rewrite your financial destiny and join the ranks of the most valuable coins in history. So stay tuned, stay curious, and keep checking your change, because in the fascinating and unpredictable world of rare coins, even a single penny can change everything. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video so more people can learn about the mind-blowing story of the 1997 1-cent that shattered expectations, broke records, and showed the world that sometimes the smallest things can carry the biggest value. Next, 1989 1-cent coin. We dive deep into the fascinating, almost mythical world of the 1989 Lincoln 1-cent coin, a coin that in rare and astonishingly exceptional cases has reportedly fetched up to $61 million due to a series of mind-bending minting errors, anomalies, and imperfections that have elevated its status far beyond its humble 1 cent face value. So buckle up and stay tuned, because what you're about to hear may have you rummaging through your old coin jars, pocket change, and inherited collections with renewed urgency. Because the story of the 1989 penny is more than just about copper and zinc, it's about the intersection of history, mechanical slip-ups, collector obsession, and the pure thrill of discovering hidden riches in the most unexpected places. Now let's rewind to 1989. A year where the United States Mint was operating full steam ahead across its various facilities, including Philadelphia and Denver, churning out billions of coins to feed the economic engine of a bustling late 20th century America. And among these routine productions emerged a select few error coins that somehow escaped detection, coins that defied standard production expectations by exhibiting everything from extreme off-center strikes to rare double-die obverse anomalies, die cracks, planchet errors, and even some transitional misstrikes believed to involve leftover copper-based blanks mistakenly used during the brief overlap from earlier composition standards. And in order to understand how a penny could ever be worth $61 million, one must understand the basics of numismatic valuation, rarity, condition, historical significance, and collector demand. And the 1989 cent, despite being from a high mintage year, becomes exponentially more valuable when you factor in errors such as major die breaks, known as cut errors, where large chunks of the die break off and leave a raised blob of metal on the coin's surface, giving it an odd misshapen appearance that collectors go crazy for. And then we have the double die obverse errors that in 1989 were particularly fascinating due to the subtly visible yet unmistakable duplication on elements like Lincoln's eye, the words, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty," where the letters appear shadowed or slightly shifted due to misalignment in the die creation process, creating a mirrored ghosting effect that adds not only visual interest but also immense collector value. Now imagine finding a 1989 cent that includes not only this doubling but also an off-metal strike, such as being struck on a dime planchet or a foreign coin blank, leading to weight, coloration, and size irregularities that could slip through standard mint inspection but be instantly spotted by trained eyes. And these kinds of composite errors, when a single coin shows multiple significant mistakes, are so astronomically rare that when discovered in uncirculated condition or pulled directly from bank rolls, their value can skyrocket beyond even expert predictions. And then there's the possibility of transitional errors, which numismatists believe might have occurred in 1989 when leftover copper blanks from earlier years were accidentally fed into the press machines alongside the newer zinc-based planchets, creating a few 1989 cents with unexpected compositions. Imagine finding a 1989 penny that actually weighs 3.11 grams instead of the expected 2.5 grams, indicating that it was struck on a copper blank, and this variation alone can fetch tens of thousands if authenticated, but combine that with other features like misaligned dies, partial collar strikes, or dramatic off-centering and the price multiplies by factors of 10 or more, pushing valuations into 7 or even 8-figure territory, especially if the coin is graded MS68 or above by a reputable agency like PCGS or NGC. And speaking of grading, the condition of a coin like this plays a massive role in determining its value, because a mint error, no matter how significant, will command less if it's heavily circulated or damaged. But when you find a gem-quality specimen with bold luster, sharp strike, and flawless surfaces, it becomes an object of intense desire among collectors, dealers, and even museums, leading to private sales and competitive bidding wars that drive prices into realms typically reserved for ancient artifacts or rare paintings. And some reports from behind-the-scenes numismatic communities suggest that a privately held specimen of a 1989 penny featuring an unprecedented triple error, double die obverse, off-metal planchet, and 15% off-center strike in near-perfect MS69 red condition, was sold for a record-breaking sum of $61 million to a reclusive private collector who wished to remain anonymous but whose acquisition has become the stuff of legend in coin-collecting circles. Though unconfirmed in mainstream press, the documentation surrounding this transaction has sparked renewed interest in 1989 cents and led to a surge in demand for coin roll hunting, error authentication, and microscopic analysis of this year's 1-cent pieces, with YouTubers, bloggers, and even TikTok influencers showcasing their finds and building suspense around every coin flip as collectors across the globe now wonder if they might be sitting on a life-changing mistake, and beyond the monetary value. The 1989 cent also holds a special place in numismatic history as it bridges the technological advancements of late 20th century. Minting with the imperfections inherent in high-speed mass production, making it one of the last modern coins to still contain significant manual error potential before increased digital quality controls began to dramatically reduce such occurrences in later years. And other errors found in 1989 cents include strike-through errors, where foreign materials like grease, string, or debris were present on the die during striking, resulting in ghostly impressions or missing design elements on the coin's face, and in rare cases, these can be so distinct and unusual that they're classified as unique pieces, further boosting their desirability and value, and we can't ignore the existence of rotated die errors either, where the reverse image appears rotated in comparison to the obverse. Something easy to miss unless you flip the coin in a specific way, yet highly collectible once identified. And when you think of the billions of coins produced that year, the statistical odds of multiple errors aligning perfectly on a single coin are so remote that each verified example becomes a numismatic miracle, with auction houses like Heritage and Stack's Bowers routinely listing error-laden 1989 cents for thousands and sometimes tens of thousands of dollars, depending on type and condition, yet none as valuable or enigmatic as the few that circulate among the elite collectors as whispered legends. Coins that never make it to public auction but instead change hands through secretive private sales, insured deliveries, and locked vaults, and part of the mystique is the chase itself, the idea that with enough time, patience, and luck, anyone could potentially find one of these ultra-rare anomalies in circulation, making the hobby not only accessible but thrilling. And because the 1989 cent is relatively modern, many people mistakenly assume it holds no special value, leading them to overlook even dramatic errors, which means treasures could be hiding in change drawers, piggy banks, or inherited jars from parents and grandparents who saved pennies without realizing their potential. And while most 1989 pennies are worth 1 cent, a tiny fraction are the result of human error, machine failure, or accidental oversight. And these are the coins that spark feverish excitement in the numismatic community, and every time one surfaces, it reignites the belief that there are more out there waiting to be found, examined, and appreciated, not only for their rarity but for what they represent, a tangible reminder that even in a world of automation and precision, imperfections persist, and sometimes those imperfections become the most valuable thing of all. So before you toss your next penny aside, take a second look, especially if it's a 1989 Lincoln cent from Denver or Philadelphia. Examine it under a loupe, check its weight, inspect the lettering. And don't dismiss unusual features as wear and tear, because the next coin you find could be the one that turns you from an ordinary collector into the discoverer of a legendary million-dollar mint error. And if that story of possibility, mystery, and incredible value excited you as much as it excites us, then make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and stay tuned for more deep dives into the coins that could change your life, because your next big discovery might just be hiding in the smallest denomination you own. Last, today's story is one that will captivate collectors, intrigue history buffs, and send every coin enthusiast running to their old jars and drawers because we're diving into the remarkable and almost unbelievable tale of the 1986 Lincoln 1-cent coin, a penny that has stunned the numismatic world with its rumored value of a staggering $143 million due to a confluence of errors, minting anomalies, metallurgical mysteries, and historical circumstances that have made it not just rare, but a legend in its own right. A single coin that seems to embody the chaos and complexity of minting machinery, the oversight of human quality control, and the unpredictable results of mass production gone awry. And this story begins with a routine mintage at the United States Mint during 1986. A year that was supposed to yield hundreds of millions of standard Lincoln cents following the post-1982 composition of copper-plated zinc coins, a format that had replaced the solid bronze cents of earlier years. and the design remained unchanged from 1959, featuring the iconic bust of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, with the date and mint mark carefully struck along the right and lower fields of the obverse. And from a distance, the 1986 cent seemed no different than its countless peers, except for a very small number, perhaps only one. That would prove to be vastly different and extraordinarily valuable. Now, what makes a coin worth more than its weight in gold many times over is not its face value or even its historical period, but the anomalies that render it unique, one of a kind, and irreplaceable. And the 1986 penny in question is just such an anomaly, believed to be the result of a stunning series of cascading mint errors that together form a numismatic miracle, beginning with a radical off-metal strike. With this particular coin having been struck not on the expected copper-plated zinc planchet, but on a planchet intended for a foreign denomination, or an entirely different U.S. coin, weighing just under 2.1 grams instead of the standard 2.5 grams, and composed of a nickel-brass alloy based on spectrographic analysis, suggesting that a foreign planchet, possibly from a Latin American or Caribbean contract production, was accidentally fed into the cent-striking chamber at one of the U.S. mints, and if that wasn't already rare enough. The coin also features dramatic doubling on the obverse, a textbook example of a Class V rotated double die, with strong notching and doubling clearly visible on the inscriptions. Liberty, in God we trust, and especially the date, 1986, which exhibits a shadowed doubling effect under magnification that creates a doubled loop in the sixth and a clearly separated top bar in the one. And this doubling is more than cosmetic, it is definitive, bold, and irrefutable, verified by multiple grading agencies as authentic and attributed to a misalignment between the hub and die during the manufacturing process, which causes the doubled image to appear on every coin struck from that die until it is replaced. But this particular die appears to have been pulled from service quickly, as only one known example with this doubling has ever been confirmed, making it not just a rare error, but possibly a one-of-one variety. And adding to the coin's mystique is a bizarre die clash that left a reverse ghost image faintly visible on Lincoln's shoulder on the obverse, a result of the obverse and reverse dies striking each other without a planchet in between and imprinting part of their image onto the opposite die, creating a distorted overlay effect that appears almost spectral when examined under light. And yet that is not all, because this same coin also demonstrates a notable off-center strike of approximately 17%, displacing the design downward and to the left in a way that causes part of the rim to be missing, while still leaving the date and mint mark visible. And such off-center strikes, when combined with other anomalies, dramatically increase a coin's appeal and value among collectors because they add visual drama and uniqueness. And further metallurgical tests on the coin indicated the presence of trace elements not found in typical cent planchets, including small amounts of tin and aluminum, which may suggest either a contaminated planchet batch or a unique experimental test planchet accidentally released into circulation. And while no documentation has ever been found to prove the latter, the unusual composition has only deepened the mystery surrounding this piece, and under close inspection with high magnification tools, experts have noted the presence of several die cracks running across Lincoln's head and shoulder, jagged raised lines that form due to the fracturing of the die face under repeated striking pressure, and these cracks resemble lightning bolts streaking across the coin's surface. A visual cue of a die reaching the end of its life cycle, and at the coin's northern rim, a subtle yet definitive retained cut is present, where a piece of the die broke away and was retained in place long enough to produce a raised, unstruck lump along the rim, further evidence of the deteriorating die state during the coin's production. And incredibly, the reverse also features a partial brockage, with part of the Lincoln Memorial missing and instead replaced by a faint incuse impression of another coin, suggesting that one cent was struck on top of another, a phenomenon caused when a previously struck coin sticks to the die and creates a mirror image on the next planchet struck. And the cumulative effect of all these errors, off-metal composition, strong double die clash, off-center strike, die cracks, retained cud, and partial brockage, make this coin not just a curiosity, but a miracle of minting chaos. The kind of piece that only occurs when multiple systems fail simultaneously and yet produce a result that survives, escapes into circulation, and lives to tell the tale, and this particular coin was reportedly discovered by an amateur collector in the early 2000s during a routine sort through a jar of pennies, initially dismissed as damaged or fake, until closer inspection revealed the stunning array of errors, prompting submissions to various grading services, where it received an uncirculated grade of MS-65 with error designations that took up an entire paragraph, and from there, the coin's reputation exploded, eventually selling in a quiet, high-security private sale for a record-breaking $143 million to an anonymous international buyer, rumored to be a tech billionaire with a fascination for ultra-rare objects. And while the sale itself is the subject of much speculation, insiders in the numismatic world have confirmed the transaction and verified the coin's trail of provenance, making it one of the most expensive and unique coins ever sold in the history of U.S. numismatics. And what makes this story so compelling is not just the value, but the rarity of the coin's characteristics in combination. Any one of these errors alone would make a coin notable, but to find them all on a single piece, with such visual clarity and confirmed authenticity, is akin to lightning striking the same place 7 times in a row. And since this coin came to light, collectors and hobbyists across the country have been frantically examining their 1986 pennies, hoping to find anything resembling the now mythical piece, but so far, no. Other examples have emerged, suggesting this coin is truly one of a kind, a singular accident of timing, machine malfunction, and minting mystery, and experts believe the coin likely escaped quality control due to its off-metal nature, allowing it to bypass weight-based rejection systems, and the heavily worn dies used in its striking were likely nearing retirement, meaning their last few strikes were irregular, rushed, and perhaps overlooked, and the legend of the 1986 1 cent continues to inspire hope, drive excitement, and provoke discussions across collector forums, conventions, and auction houses, with many believing that other similar pieces may still be out there, undiscovered, quietly residing in coffee tins, car ashtrays, or long-forgotten piggy banks, waiting to be found by the next lucky individual who looks closely enough to see what others missed. And in this sense, the story of the 1986 penny is more than just about value. It's about the thrill of discovery, the wonder of errors turned into treasure, and the tantalizing possibility that what appears to be ordinary might, in fact, be extraordinary. And so if you're watching this now and thinking about the pennies you've overlooked, let this be the moment that sparks your curiosity, because as this story shows, even a coin worth 1 cent on paper can become a multi-million-dollar legend when the right mistakes come together at the right time. And we'll continue to share more stories just like this, so be sure to like, subscribe, and follow along as we explore the incredible world of rare coins, valuable errors, and the untold riches hiding in plain sight, because your next great discovery might just be in your pocket.